Good evening, residents of Bishan Toa Payoh and fellow Singaporeans. My name is Bryan Long, and I'd like to give you a little introduction into myself. I know I've gone on in the last rally at Toa Payoh about a lot of things, but I just want to introduce who I am and what I've done in the past. I was formerly a scholar with the Ministry of Defense. I did defense technology policy work. I coordinated the first Singapore Air Show in 2008. I represented Singapore at overseas technology conferences and worked on big projects like the purchase of the F-15 aircraft. Thank you. I then stayed home to look after my son and my daughter, during which I finished my MBA. I did another degree in law from NUS. It's a full-time degree. This means I have 3 degrees. I have a mechanical engineering degree from Purdue University, an MBA, and a law degree. I also have a diploma in counseling and social psychology. Today, and I emphasize, today, I work full-time as a co-founder and chief operating officer of an American startup, HQ in Singapore. And it's important for every one of you to know my credentials, so you know that I have the intellectual ability, the confidence to contribute to solving the big problems facing Singapore. Otherwise, I will get another person coming up to me at the MRT and say, "Are you still a stay-at-home father?" I am proud to have been a stay-at-home father, but I'm proud to contribute to the policy making of Singapore and also to the economic contribution to Singapore. But tonight, I'm here to share with you our plans for our town of Bishan Toa Payoh. And I say our town because I live in Bishan Toa Payoh GRC too. You see, the big things are important. They matter. People talk about it all the time. But the little things, they count also. Big things like the CPF, housing, immigration, security are issues that affect all of us in the long term. But we go through life from day to day without really thinking about them. But big things are important to you because they are more long-term in nature. They impact your future, and we care about that too. But little things, they impact your present. They affect you. But it's the little things that irritates you, frustrates you on a day-to-day basis. Little things matter, like making a proper staircase to the Marymount MRT station, so residents don't have to walk down a steep, sandy shortcut anymore. At Marymount MRT, people walk down this sandy slope instead of using the staircase because you know why? Because it's nearer, it's shorter, it's faster. And we want to see that this sandy slope be replaced with a proper staircase. You see, little things like this that we notice may not mean much to the PAP, but it means much to the residents who walk down that slope daily. It's important to us because we take the MRT too. Now, little things matter, like making sure that playgrounds are properly maintained. Now, Bishan and Toa Payoh have many new playgrounds. Putting them in is very easy. Maintaining them isn't so easy. Most of the playgrounds are no longer filled with sand, and you know what I mean. They're filled now with this rubber compound. It's good, it's safer, it's more hygienic. But the problem with the rubber compound is they get loose very, very fast. And after some time, they create these big, gigantic holes. Now, these holes are not patched up until someone complains or something, or more likely, nothing is even done. We want to make sure your playgrounds are safe for your children. It's important to me because my children play in them too, Bishan Toa Payoh. Little things matter, like having a place to let your dogs run free. There are many residents at a new block in Toa Payoh who owns dogs. They care for their dogs because they are family members too. Take the residents staying at the Peak, Toa Payoh. They gathered together, and I joined in one of their events 2 nights ago, and they let their dogs play together, but they can't let their dogs go free because they don't have a fenced-up area. It's illegal to let your dogs run free in public. They tried to get the government agencies to help, but they've been pushed from one place to another. No help from the previous MP either. It's important to me because these residents, they become better neighbors when they get together like this to interact. It's more effective, in my opinion, than having another block party. We want to work with these residents to set up a dog run in Toa Payoh. Now, fellow friends, I'm just sharing with you all these things. It's not because we don't want to go into the big issues. Ben will cover that later. But we want to let you know we understand that you come up to us and you ask us, what can you do? What can you do for us? Because there are other things that matter. Little things. Bishan residents wonder why there isn't a polyclinic in Bishan and they need to go to Ang Mo Kio or Toa Payoh to get polyclinic services. Toa Payoh residents feel that they don't have enough entertainment options for their families, especially a cinema. Also, with more BTO flats coming up in Toa Payoh, it is even more important to ensure that there are enough childcare centers, eating places, recreational facilities, proper transportation. Well, we want to work with the government agencies to help them plan out these town requirements. And also for the residents in the private estates, we know that they have big difficulties getting rid of old bicycles, bulky items. We want to open up our town council disposal services to them too. All these little things count. Because when you face a small issue day after day, it adds up to your stress. It declines your quality of living. We've gone around. We've heard you all. You're not asking for much. You're just asking for a little bit more so that your neighborhood in Bishan and in Toa Payoh feel more like a community to you. And that's what we want to do in Bishan Toa Payoh. We recognize that the community aspect of Bishan Toa Payoh is lacking. It's not about more shiny new things. It's about the things that bring us together, make our hearts connect with one another, make us feel that together we are residents of Bishan Toa Payoh. So we will take up the PAP's challenge that the opposition should be able to govern the town council first before talking about forming the next government. We believe that we can be more than estate managers, because we want to govern Bishan Toa Payoh properly such that there will be a unique culture and town spirit that is so strong that you all won't want to sell your flats to go to another place. We will be the GRC version of Potong Pasir when it was under Cham Si Tong, when everybody were proud of the community spirit, and they will be proud of the community spirit in Bishan Toa Payoh. Again, I remind you, we're not saying all these things because we feel that the big issues are trivial. No, they are important. But you have come up to us and keep asking us over and over again. We want to know what can you do for us in Bishan Toa Payoh. So today, I'm addressing you all Bishan Toa Payoh residents that we do have a plan. So friends, the PAP MPs promise you all a lot of upgrading and more facilities. Unfortunately, that's all they have done so far. They are out of ideas. But most of all, they are unable to commit more time to doing more. Because doing anything more for the community means that they need to spend more time on the ground in Bishan Toa Payoh. And that is difficult when they are working full-time as ministers. But we at SPP, we have a vision. We have a vision of how to build up Bishan Toa Payoh spirit. You already heard from Abdillah about how we want to bring culture into Bishan Toa Payoh with the community performing arts group. Let me state a few more for our plans for Bishan Toa Payoh. Now first, we want to bring life back to the amenities. You see, it's not just about how many new playgrounds or fitness corners that we can be built. It's easy to do that. But it's also about how we can encourage people to use it. Now, I've been a frequent visitor to the playgrounds in Bishan, and I assure you I know a lot of them, if not all of them. Since me and my 3 kids, we live here in Bishan. And I've noticed that children tend to play by themselves with their parents or the domestic helpers. It's the same for the fitness corners. The elderly are just by themselves using the facilities. We like to see that changed. The SPP team wants to rope in the Bishan Toa Payoh volunteers and our own volunteers, and we want to run activities for the children. We want to run activities for the elderly at the playground, at the fitness corners. It's not about organizing a block party and get you all to come to it. Instead, we like to go to where the children are, we like to go to where the elderly are, and we want to organize things so that there will be interaction among the children, interaction among the elderly. And for the children, we will organize such games for them to play together, and they could be traditional games that they grew up with or other games that could teach them important life lessons. Why is this so? Remember last time when we play at the playground, it doesn't matter race, language, religion, we just run around with everybody. I used to be at Bedok when I was younger. They used to call me the Bedok gangster because I take off my shirt, I run around with 3 or 4 other kids and I command them what to do. It was a different Just hang on while we fix a technical difficulty. Right. It's an interesting time because I got to interact with a lot of kids around in my neighborhood at the playground. Today, children, they come together with the parents, and it's hard for them to play with one another because their parents are also very busy, right? But with our community helpers, we're going to bring activities in so the children get to interact with each other, they know each other better. And the parents can now take the opportunity to interact with the other neighbors, or maybe even go off on a short date by themselves. And I'm sure many parents are like that very much. It's the same for the fitness corners. The volunteers will help the elderly use the equipment to build up their fitness, and at the same time, the activities help the elderly interact with each other. So let's bring life back. Let's bring life back to the physical structures in Bishan, Toa Payoh. Second, we want to open up a Bishan Toa Payoh Residence Assistance Center. This assistance center will be the first place for residents when they need any assistance in their CPF, employment, and business issues. Now, we may not be able to get the government to change their policies immediately, but that doesn't mean we cannot get going to help the community. So we want to help our residents overcome the challenges that they're facing presently. We can't change the CPF rules for now, but we can definitely help our retiring residents make a better choice on what to do with their CPF. We may not be able to get the government to protect Singaporean jobs better right now, but we can provide career coaching services for our younger residents. At 35 years old, we want to allow a Bishan Toa Payoh resident to come and have a career assessment to see if they're progressing well in their jobs. And if not, our coaches can suggest how they can take on new skills so they remain employable. For older PMEs who are facing difficulty with finding re-employment, Mr. Law will talk about how we're going to set up a PME portal for the professionals, managers, professionals who can help connect our Bishan Toa Payoh PMEs, right, with the local businesses or other companies. Finally, we will also set up a Bishan Toa Payoh Assistance Fund of $1 million to help our residents who are SME owners and other people who are going through crisis. Now, this fund will help our Singaporeans, business owners living in Bishan Toa Payoh, whose companies could be going through difficult times so that they can continue to give jobs to Singaporeans first. Third, we want to connect the local businesses in Bishan Toa Payoh with the residents who can provide freelance services or consulting services. This could be in the area of graphic design, website creation, or even marketing advice. Now, we know there are a lot of stay-at-home parents and young people in Bishan Toa Payoh who actually have the skills that can help the many businesses, the local businesses and the local companies in our GRC. The residents get to work on such projects. In return, they get to earn money, while the businesses get help from locals within the community who understand their products. Fourth, we want to let ground-up initiatives flourish in Bishan Toa Payoh. Now, we have received many good suggestions from the residents these past few days, and it demonstrates that the residents have good ideas too. We want to support our residents who want to play a community leader role in Bishan Toa Payoh. I've met residents with disabled children who wants to be able to organize more activities for families with disabled children. Other residents want to organize storytelling sessions in their homes. Some want to form motorcycle interest clubs. We want to encourage such great initiatives to happen to build up the community spirit. To do this, we will organize a quarterly Community Solutions Day, a workshop where our residents can come together, leverage on our ability to use technology and solve problems facing our community and be able to showcase their ideas so others can join in. So I hope that Bishan Toa Payoh residents here with us today, you will support us in our vision of a stronger, tighter community in GRC. We can't do it all without you all. Thank you. So I want to end off with a topic that's not so tangible. It's something that's very dear to my heart. I want to talk about happiness. I know you can't eat happiness. I know you can't breathe happiness, but it's something that's meaningful, something that's big, and even more fundamental. The proclamation of independence of Singapore was for the first time read out by Mr. Lee Kuan Yew on 9th of August this year. It's a powerful piece of text that many, if not most Singaporeans in Singapore do not pay attention to. You probably didn't even know that we have a proclamation of independence. And it states a very important vision. It says that on that day of independence in 1965, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew proclaimed on behalf of the people and the government of Singapore that Singapore shall forever be a sovereign, democratic, and independent nation, founded upon the principles of liberty and justice, and, listen to this, ever seeking the welfare and happiness of a people in a more and just and equal society. I'll say that again in a simpler way. It says that we, the people and the government, together proclaim that Singapore shall be democratic and independent, that based on justice and liberty and justice, we shall ever seek the welfare and happiness of a people in a more and just society. I love that last sentence. Ever seeking the welfare and happiness of a people. That word happiness is a word that seems so taboo to the PAP. Like it's a word that should never be spoken. Happiness seems to lead to laziness, complacency. But I want you to know that the word happiness actually appears not just in the proclamation of independence. It appears in our national anthem. Which word in our national anthem? Bahagia, happiness. We recited in our national pledge when we were in school, right? Our pledge ends with the statement, so as to achieve happiness, prosperity, and progress for our nation. It's actually interesting how embedded the concept of happiness is. Why is it so shameful? Why is it so difficult to talk about the topic of happiness in Singapore? Maybe because we are so pragmatic. Maybe it's because we can't afford to talk about happiness when the cost of living is going up, when there's stresses all around, when competition is going up. Maybe we got to be realistic. But I believe that the word happiness should not be treated so lightly. So you see, unlike the version of happiness in America, their version is about the individual right to pursue happiness. Our version, people listen to me, our version of happiness is about how we as a community seek out happiness for each other. It's not about how an individual can seek happiness for him or herself. It's about how we as a society can help each other seek out happiness. And this is an important difference because we are Asian, we have communal values. It shows how we believe in helping one another. But the PAP only believes that they can help us. We can't help ourselves. We've got to listen to them. And that's not true. We love one another. We care for each other. We believe that we can help each other. We can increase the happiness in Singaporeans. Come on, joining me in this vision together, right? Friends, now that you know that happiness is possible in Singapore, this is actually what makes Singaporeans know that Singapore is where we can not just set up home. We can set up home pretty much anywhere because that's my family. But there's something more. We know that once this is a place we can find happiness, Singapore is our country. Our country, people of Singapore. Singapore is our country. This is where we can find happiness. Happiness is important. We are not machines. And I personally believe happiness is possible in Singapore, and we want to see it begin in Bishan, Toa Payoh. And that's why we talked about all the other things earlier. I know you were saying, oh, those are all trivial stuff. There's nothing big. Why are you talking about all these things? Because we want to say, let's bring the heart back to Bishan Toa Payoh. Let's make this a community that we can be proud of. I want to see smiling faces when I go to the MRT station. And I assure you, we've been walking the MRT station. We've been there every single day, and not many people smile. We say, 早安, we say, good morning, and everybody's looking at us like, you're weird. It's so hard. It's so hard. You feel weird, right, to be happy early in the morning. It's like you got to be grumpy to go to work. Why? Why is that so? Come on, Bishan Toa Payoh residents. We can do better than this. We can show the rest of Singapore that we are happy people and we have a community that cares for one another. And so I appeal to all of you. Vote for us. Vote for SPP because you believe in us. Vote for us because if policies need to be changed, we will push for it. Vote for us because we will bring the soul back to Bishan Toa Payoh. The SPP team is in this together with you. You are not on your own. Don't be undecided anymore. On polling day this Friday, give us your vote. Give us your opportunity to serve you. We hear you. We speak for you. Thank you.